Dwayne here, PhoenixTypewriter.com. Got an Olympia electric typewriter from Japan. It's probably not made by Olympia, it's probably made by Nakajima. This machine is actually still working, which is unusual for these. Usually they have bad belts over here on this side, but this one's got a strong belt. It's probably been replaced. It's so good. I bet you it was replaced 20 years ago. The belts that they used to replace that aren't available anymore were a lot better than the originals. I have a feeling that's what's happening with this machine because it's working so good. And usually they're not. Okay, but this does have a problem that's common with some typewriters nowadays. Get some more light down here. Okay, so what it does sometimes is smear, so the ribbon is fresh, and when it goes up and down it actually leaves a smear mark on the paper beneath the typed letters, and it's kind of hard to see it on camera as it's hard to see it there, but it does do it. I saw it doing it. Oops. So I have a theory that when this ribbon goes up, let's take a close look here. When this goes up, it causes, you can see the, now let me put this in red so it goes up higher. It rubs against the paper right here, right on the bottom there. That part rubs and leaves these little marks right there. So if it was tighter, so when it goes up there's a lot of slop in the ribbon, but if I hold tension, let me back this up a little. If I hold tension on the spool and keep that ribbon tight, it doesn't flop around as much. See that? It goes up, but if it's loose, it does. So I have a theory, I've had it for a long time, and it is that these spools, how free spooling that is, if it had a little tension, just a little bit, can't be too much or it won't drive, that will take care of that slack that happens when the ribbon lifts. It gets this slack in there. So I have a plan for this, and this is what it is. So I've already done a little trial and error on this, and I found a way to make this so it has more tension. One way would be to tighten up the spring here on this arm so it pushes harder, but that didn't do enough. So I'm going to take this little C-clip off right here that holds this gear onto the spindle here. See if I can get this thing off without too much trouble. Okay, got the C-clip off, and then this spindle just kind of happens to just come right on out of there. So what I found was over here, I got all my washers, and I found these two right here, matching pair. Here's one, there's two, but this is a very thin washer, and it's got a little bend to it. So it is a little bit of spring steel style washer, and it's just a little bit. I'm going to put it around that shaft, right down there, and then I'm going to put this back on. And you can see it just springs a little bit, and a little clip, the slot for this C-clip shows up. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick that on there. Let me find my C-clip installing tool here. Alright, so I got this little tool here that helps push the C-clip back on. Right here. A little slot in the end, it's just a spring hook, and then we'll push this back on. baby. Come on. You can do it. Okay. So that's back on there now. You put the ribbon back on here. And the spool back on. So it's got just a little bit of tension. See, it doesn't spin freely. And it keeps this a little tighter. Keeps this ribbon in here tighter. And it goes up and down. So that's what I want to try. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side here. And do the same thing on that side. And I've already tried it. It's not too tight where it doesn't interfere with the feed mechanism here, which is right here. These little guys do the driving right there. It doesn't interfere with that at all. So let's just put this on this side here. I did try a couple different washers until I got exactly what I wanted in there, so this is it. It just happens to be a pretty good way of doing that. So let's put that back down, drop that spool back in there, clip back on wherever it went. There it goes. And we're going to call this done. I'm going to give it another test run here. Make sure everything is good. Come on, buddy. There's a little ridge here. It doesn't want to go around. There we go. And let's put this back on. And see if she still works, which I'm sure it will. But I've already tried it. And that definitely keeps this ribbon tighter. So that is my theory, and it's still not too tight. I think that could be part of the solution. The other two factors when it comes to smearing on the paper is make sure the paper is tight against the roller. And if you have card guides, make sure they're snug up against the paper so it keeps the paper against the roller. If there's any kind of little movement here of the paper, it will put the paper more toward the ribbon, and that can cause smearing. I think this is probably alright. At least we're going to give this a try. So that's my theory on that. Tighten up the ribbon spool tension just a little bit. And that's it. Phoenix Typewriter. Good day.